It's your girl, BU Mel, and thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe this video. Um, yeah, so not just so much in light of the recent celebrity passings with suicide and depression. Um, really, I made this as just um, an idea of depression itself and a part of what I've gone through in my own life dealing with depression. And I would definitely say depression is definitely a real thing. I know a lot of people will say, no, it's not. It's not a disease. It's not this. It's not that. And honestly, it is a real thing. Um, I remember when I was going through mine, and not to say like mine was like a high level, because I would definitely say that there's levels to depression, and there are different types of depression. That's why it's so easy for people to be like, well, you know what I mean? I didn't even know there was no signs or whatever the case may be. And it's not to say that there aren't signs, but the signs can be very vague to what you might understand as depression or what you would expect depression to be. I can definitely say that when I was going through mine, and I wasn't on medication, I didn't go to counseling or a doctor or anything like that. But I can definitely say that I went through it because I remember a time where I wasn't talking to anybody, and so much of what I was going through at that time was just like, for me, like when I had really gotten to a place where I was able to realize what I was going through and how I kind of was just like, okay, no more. But when I was going through it, I didn't want to talk to anybody. It was easy to put on a front for people and, pretend like nothing was wrong and all this other stuff. But it was a challenge because for a lot of people who deal with depression at all, you pretty much have to put on a front for people who you love and care about. And it, that by itself is actually draining, even, even though like, people will be like, well, how do you pretend to be something or whatever the case may be? But part of it is just you have to, you know what I mean? You can't um really change too much for that part of depression. I know that's not really explaining much, but when you have an everyday life that you have to live, and you have people counting on you, and you have you know, people who respect you and love you and all this other kind of stuff. They're looking for you to be a certain type of person on a regular basis. So a lot of the things you will not change. You won't necessarily change all your habits. But like for me, I may not have texted as much or called as much or reached out to people as much. And really when I got to myself, like when I was just kind of by myself and in my own thoughts, I was a mess. I was just a mess. And then being alone with that was just, it was even worse. And the thing about it is with depression is, for some of us, we can, in our bodies, know that we're going through something, but we kind of push it off, because I think that's something that we do in society is we push ourselves away from something that could be wrong, or somebody telling us that nothing's wrong at all with us. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes we really are going through something that we don't understand, something that we don't know about, something that internally, whether it's, a physical ailment that you can't really see, or, you know what I mean, something like depression where it's mental, or a combination of the two. It is, it's really a battle. It is definitely a battle that, you know, an individual goes through, because you're fighting part of what you know, then you're adding something that you don't understand, then you're telling, you know what I mean? Part of what's going on is you're telling yourself something that's not even true, um, really, as far as your mental is concerned. Definitely as a part of being able to break that. But, I remember just feeling alone. Like I had people around me, you know what I mean? I have a child and, all this kind of stuff, but it was just like in that moment, it wasn't enough. And I always found myself kind of like breaking down at really things that I shouldn't have been breaking down about. And, you know, it hit me in different ways. It hit me at different times. It didn't always resonate the same way every single time. But I got to a point where I realized that something more was bothering me. And I still didn't necessarily go and get the help for it. You know what I mean? I probably should have and definitely, tried to find a counselor. But, luckily for me, I wasn't in it that much to the point where, you know, I had to necessarily be on medication or anything like that. But um, I know it was draining for the people around me because I know that the one person that I care about, the one person that would say that they care about me or did or whatever the case may be, um, I know that they could say that I was different. And with all that being said, it puts a dampener on your happiness. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. It definitely puts a dampener on your happiness, and you you just don't know where to go in that. And in essence, you feel trapped. You feel like, you can't turn to people. You feel like you can't say, well, hey, this is bothering me, or I'm feeling really low right now. And it's tough. It's definitely tough. And I can't say that necessarily everybody's going through depression, but when you see a moment and you feel an energy change, try to figure out what is, not necessarily try to figure out what's going on with the person, but try to make sure that you're paying attention to people that you care about and see what you can do for them. Even if they're in a place where they don't feel like um they want the help or anything like that. When it comes to depression, it's really, I don't want to say something that you have to force, but it's definitely something that you have to watch for and be mindful of because, you know, I don't think anybody wants to keep saying, well, life's too short and everybody's passing away, but, you know, it is definitely a hurt when you see people, whether they're a celebrity, your your neighbor, your anything, anything, your grandmother, your grandfather, somebody that you care about, somebody that's been in the military, a veteran, somebody who's, just gone through just tremendous things in their life. You know, when people go through depression, it's really something where, especially if they're going through it alone and they don't have anybody to go to or they don't have the resources to go to, it is definitely something that is sad because I know for me, like right now, like I'm paying for a counselor now, and I know that resource isn't available for everybody as far as paying, and it's sad because I don't want to say like in my area right now that there aren't places that people can go to talk to other people. Family is not good enough. Sometimes, having a best friend in these types of situations is not good enough. Having a husband or a wife is not good enough because I know people will say, well, you know what I mean? I've been married for so long, or they've been married for so long. Why didn't they say anything? Why didn't this? Why didn't that? Why? It's something that robs you from really wanting to speak. It's a very silent disease. It is something that creeps in a very strange way. And it does its best to take over part of your, I what's the word I'm looking for? Your, in a sense, your stability, because it's that one thing that can knock you off from anything going on in your life, and then you don't go and talk to anybody about it. It is very sad, and it's very, um, really, it's not fun at all. And, yeah, I would definitely just say, in this video, I didn't want to make it really long, just really just, an idea to say that, hey, depression's a real thing. Don't take it lightly when you see, celebrities passing away from this, this disease, and, taking our own lives, because, money isn't happiness. Wealth isn't happiness. Those things that so much of society makes as happiness is not true. You can have all the money in the world and be so sad and be so angry and be anything, you know what I mean? I know a lot of us say, if I had this certain type of money and that certain type of money, yes, your life would be different. But when these people have had money, have lost money, have this, have that, it's life. Life can be a weapon if you let it. And I can definitely say, don't let life be a weapon to harm you in a way that will allow you to take your life away. And, you know, if you're watching this and you're going through depression, talk to somebody. When you're just at the worst of the worst, and when that little inkling of a feeling comes along where you're just like, I don't know, or whatever, like, I think it's different for everybody, but I think there's always a little sense of something that goes on that something's not right. Talk to somebody. Try to talk to somebody. Call 911 if you need to. Find your, um, suicide prevention line, and, do what you have to do. Make your phone, make your computer, make a friend, make whoever you need, that whatever resource you need that's available, your resource to take care of yourself. And, you know, I hope that, whenever this video kind of comes out and around, that it means something to somebody. And I hope you guys are blessed, and you guys have a great night. See ya.